Hi, community of peace. Once again, this is Reverend Glover. Today we're going to talk about the power of the imperfect witness. The power of the imperfect witness. So we're coming out of the book of Jonah, and Jonah is my favorite book in the Bible. Chapter 3, verses 1 through 5 and 10. The word of the Lord came to Jonah a second time, saying, "Get up, go to Nineveh, that great city, and proclaim to it the message that I tell you." So Jonah set out and went to Nineveh, according to the word of the Lord. Now Nineveh was an exceedingly large city, a 3 days' walk across. Jonah began to go to the city, going the day's walk, and he cried out, 40 days more, and Nineveh shall be overthrown. And the people of Nineveh believed God. They proclaimed a fast, and everyone, great and small, put on sackcloth. Verse 10, when God saw what they did, how they turned from their evil ways, God changed his mind about the calamity and that he had said he would bring upon them, and he did not do it. With the Lord's help, we will preach from the subject, the power of the imperfect witness. The power of the imperfect witness. See, an imperfection, beloved, is a fault, a blemish, or an undesirable feature. Can we talk about diamonds? They say a diamond is a girl's best friend. Diamonds are known for their cut, clarity, carat weight, and color. Have you ever seen a diamond that has fire? The light just jumps all through it. But despite the clarity or the other qualities of the diamond, there is no perfect diamond. All diamonds have imperfections. If you look in the light through a jeweler's eyepiece, you will see the imperfections, little pieces of carbon. Shall we throw our diamond away? Diamonds make a powerful statement. Have you ever seen a diamond solitaire necklace in a woman who's wearing a simple black dress? The diamond has the cut, clarity, carat weight, and color. The diamond is making a powerful statement, but it is imperfect. So it is with us, beloved. We are also imperfect. Jonah is the story of an imperfect prophet of God. It is my favorite book in the whole Bible. I love Jonah because I see it as a story about us. Jonah was imperfect, and we are imperfect. It only has 4 chapters, and it's one simple story, yet it is so complex. It's a story that is so simple that a child could read and understand it, yet so many biblical scholars tend to study it and debate it. On the surface, it's a simple story of a man of God, who we often forget that Jonah was a prophet. So he was a man of God. God decided to use Jonah as a witness to Nineveh. Why did God want Jonah to witness to Nineveh? For their wickedness has come up before God. The Ninevites, you see, were a wicked people. They were a group that oppressed other people. They invaded foreign nations. They were arrogant, and they flaunted their power. It is said that they would take a man and bury him at the sea at low tide and watch the high tide come in and to drown him. They were an enemy to the Jews, and they were the people who ultimately defeated the northern kingdom. Jonah viewed the people of Nineveh as their enemy. You see, what if during the midst of the Cold War, and Russia had all of its nuclear weapons pointed directly at us. They were willing and able to totally destroy us. All you can think about is nuclear Armageddon. You wonder if your children will be able to grow up, because at any moment the Russian leader could press the button and America the Great, our homes, the land that we live on, would be no more. But then you hear that their destruction has been slated by God. God had already scheduled a great hailstorm to come and wipe them off the face of the earth. You might not like the thought of people dying, but think about the relief to think that that great nuclear enemy had been destroyed. But then the Lord comes to you and says, go to Moscow and witness to Vladimir Putin, lest he be destroyed. You think, I hate the loss of Russian life, but do you really want Russia to be safe? Do you really want those nuclear missiles to be continued aimed at us and our families? Do you really want those nuclear submarines to drift along the U.S. coastline? What about the threat of Russian tanks invading from Alaska? Would you really want Russia to be saved? The people of Nineveh threatened the very existence of the people in the northern kingdom. It was these people that God wanted Jonah to go witness. The Jews feared the Ninevites. They feared that they would eventually destroy them. The man of God, Jonah, was imperfect because he was reluctant. In the text, God came to him a second time. The root of Jonah's reluctance was his fear. He feared that this civilization would ultimately defeat his people. And because Jonah was a man of God, he knew that God was merciful and that God could spare the Ninevites. Jonah was placed in a position to be used by God in a marvelous way to save an entire people. But he allowed his fear to be reluctant to God's call. What are your fears, beloved? When God calls you to leave the four walls of your church, to go into a dying, rebellious world, what keeps you from saying, God, here I am, send me? Many of us are afraid to witness because we know that we're not exactly perfect. We may not know what to say. Many of us are wrapped in fear. They may reject me. They may not be willing to hear me. Jonah was not perfect. He was fearful and reluctant, but his witness was so powerful. It saved an entire people. His witness was imperfect, yet it was so powerful. Imagine if we, like Jonah, were to go out and witness to this world. People in need. Have you ever gone to a homeless shelter and just listened to the people tell their stories? We can do so much good by helping so many people. But the question, beloved, is how do we, imperfect people, become powerful witness? One thing, we have to go despite our reluctance, despite the fear of being rejected, despite the fear of leaving our comfort zone, despite the you fill in the blank. Whatever is holding you back, go. Witness Christ despite your reluctance. And you have to know, and this is, I think, where Jonah made his biggest mistake. We have to recognize that God's table is open to all. You see, Jonah did not believe that the Ninevites should receive God's mercy. But beloved, have you received God's mercy in your lifetime? If you have received God's mercy, how can you deny that mercy to someone else? Everyone deserves access to God's table and God's mercy. And lastly, my brothers and my sisters, don't worry about what it is you will say. Because God told Jonah that I will give you the utterance. God gave Jonah what God wanted Jonah to say and to hear. You see, so beloved, when you go, you just go, and God will give you the utterance. As I'm about to conclude this teaching, let's remember, Moses, beloved, was imperfect. He had a speech impediment. But go ask Pharaoh's army how powerful his witness was. Remember, he drowned them in the Red Sea. Noah was imperfect. He was an alcoholic. But go ask the flood how powerful his witness was. King David was imperfect. He had all kinds of family problems. But go ask the enemies of the Jews how powerful his witness was. Samson was imperfect. He never did get the situation right with Delilah. But go ask the Philistines how powerful his witness was. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was imperfect. He had his own personal struggles. But go ask the Alabama Police Department about his power as he marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Beloved, you have no idea how powerful your witness can be and is. We are imperfect, but powerful. When Jonah got to Nineveh, the whole people turned from their wicked ways and accepted God as their Savior, and God granted them mercy. Jonah's imperfect witness saved an entire people. God bless you.